Hi guys and girls, Vicky here from Tales from the Trails, and this is a random Wednesday video featuring Animal Crossing New Horizons. It is on the Nintendo Switch, and this is essentially, like a daily routine which I go through. So I'm going to get started and let's head out. As you leave your house, your phone will ring if you've left items in the drop box, which is a selling point overnight while the shop is closed. It'll let you know how much you've earned in the night, just selling off bugs, items, fish, whatever you found. And it's a nice little bit of pocket money for the morning. And in addition to that, you can have mail in your mailbox. It'll be from other characters found in the lands. We have Megan here. It just sent me a message, and Gulliver, who is a seagull who sometimes but often washes up on your shore, and he leaves a little present too. So we're just going to have a look as to what he's given me, or given my character. And it's a mask. Okay, I don't like masks, they're kind of freaky, apart from the one I'm currently wearing, so we're going to put that back the way it was. So after getting the mail, the first thing I do tend to do is go find fossils. There tends to be 5 fossils buried around your island. There used to be other items like pitfalls, like things what you fall into, and those little weird robot looking things, but gloids, I can't pronounce it, as always. But yeah, they're not in here as per yet. But it's worthwhile picking up the fossils because you can donate them to the museum, which expands the collection and makes it a little bit more desirable, and the quality rating improves, and eventually you get better tools and stuff like that. Sometimes they're really quite hard to find, they're hidden away and you can only find a few, but there are generally 5 hidden on your island. So now I've got these, I ended up with 4 fossils, I couldn't find the other one. Go to the museum, and then you talk to Blathers the owl. Generally during the day he is asleep, he's awake more at night, but you want him to assess the fossils. It means essentially, what are they? We're just going to do that right now. Assess fossils, and he'll take a look, see what they are, he'll name them, and he'll generally, if he doesn't have an item in his collection already, which is downstairs in this museum, he will politely ask you if you want to donate them. In this case, he already has all these fossils which I brought to him, so he gives them back and we don't need to donate them, but we can sell them at the shop and also give them to other people. Once I've done the fossils, I tend to go to the beach and look for a message in a bottle. This was actually omitted from the last game of Animal Crossing, but it is back in, and you can often find items and recipes. And we're going to learn it straight away. So we've just learned the log bench. Next up, I do tend to go around looking for a shiny mark on the ground, which I call a lucky spot. I have no idea what the official name is. It looks like that. What you can do is bury money, and it'll grow into a money tree, and it's like a 3-fold. So essentially, whatever you bury, you get 3 times the amount back. You always find money in the hole, but this is one what I planted a few days ago. I only put 1,000 bells, so there is 3,000 bells in individual bags in total. But you can bury 99,000 bells, which when you get 3 times that back, it's worth it. After the money trees, I tend to go around bashing rocks with a shovel. It sounds weird, but you find stone, clay, iron, and even gold, and like bugs as well. So you use those for crafting items in this game in particular, which is different from some of the other games of Animal Crossing. So it's useful to do, and you can hit the rocks once a day. Next up on my daily item to-do list, I tend to give gifts to all the residents on the island. To do this, you have to be friendly with them, you can just chat to them, and eventually you'll be given the option to, do you want this, which is gifting an item. So I tend to buy a lot of things from Nook's Cranny. This is my current shop, but it does upgrade, so there's more items and whatever. Buy one of each of the items, and also some wrapping paper, so I can actually give it as a nice gift to the resident who will be receiving it. You don't have to do this, but it does help with the Nook Miles, which I'll go into a little bit later on. I don't want to go into too much detail. But yeah, you just buy everything you need, or see, or want to give. Some are special items and they come in very rarely, but you can buy them later anyway if you buy them the first time. So we have wrapping paper here. You can buy it from the little cabinet in the corner of the shop. I'm just going to wrap up some items which we just bought so we can gift them to the residents. So now we have to find the residents themselves. So yeah, just talk to them. If they're your friend, then you can actually give them a gift as well. So we're just going to hand over all the little gifts to the residents that we have found. This is Frank, very high pitched. And yeah, he gave us some bells in return, which, you know, that's fair enough. Didn't want anything, but okay. Got Vesta the sheep. She's always very happy. Something for you. You do tend to just open it there and then. So, yeah, go for it. A handcart. I'm not sure what it meant by that. I think it was like a wheelbarrow. And what do we get? We get some pyjamas. Woo! Clothing. And over there, we see the squirrel. Hazel. Give her a gift as well. You have to open it to find out. It is, and we're getting there slowly, it is a microwave. I gave her a microwave. What a random present. And I don't know why she calls me Highway. No idea whatsoever. And she gave some bells in return. How kind of her. You can also find the residents in houses and the houses of other people. Quite often you'll find the light on, which means somebody is home. In this case, Bubbles, I think it is. Yep, Bubbles. Was making something on a workbench, and that means we're going to get a copy of the recipe of whatever that character was making. So, stacked magazines. Don't know how to do it, so they're going to hand us over their recipe, just like so. And eventually, at some point, I will make it. But you have to learn these recipes before you can make it. So we're just going to give this character a gift, like the other ones, what we just did. Just keep everything nice and friendly. And it was that mask right at the beginning, what Gulliver sent through the mail, I think it was. Anyway, I didn't like that mask. And it doesn't fit her head very well either, which is quite funny. So anyway, she gave us some money as well, which was very kind of her. And yeah, recipes, you just make items for your house or the island itself. Learning recipes is really simple. You just literally click on the card and then you've learnt it. The card itself will disappear, but it'll end up in the crafting menu, which you can recall at any point. Next up, I tend to tackle trees. Sounds weird, but it is to a degree a necessity. You can pick up tree branches off the ground, but you can also find them in trees themselves. It's worthwhile just go around shaking all the trees to start with, especially with a net out, just in case there are any wasps in there, because they're never very good. They used to just be the bees in the other games, but this one is wasps and they're not nice. But essentially, I tend to go around shaking trees, get anything that falls out of them, like bugs, branches, coins, items, and anything else that falls out. I tend to leave the fruit trees because not much comes out of them apart from the fruit themselves. But after I've done that, I will tend to get an axe out. A flimsy axe doesn't actually damage the trees, a proper axe will, as in you'll chop the tree down, but with the flimsy axe you'll just knock out the items which are in the tree, which in this case it tends to be wood, hardwood and softwood, and these are materials that you use for crafting. Next up, I'll tackle the fruit trees. My island has a native peach fruit, which means you won't get as much from the shop if you sell them as a non-native fruit, such as the apple. I think I've got a pear somewhere, and also the coconuts. After sorting the trees out, I will go to the beach, and you will find items washed up on the shore, like the message in a bottle from earlier. You will find shells and also these clams. You can turn these into fish food, like fish bait, so it's quite useful for when fishing, or you could sell them at the shop, always useful as well. So yeah, I tend to wander around beaches, pick up any shells, and any items which I find, I will sell them. These are shooting stars, and you can find them on the beach the morning after a meteor shower hits your village. I'm not doing a nighttime video right now, but there will be one in future. And while picking up shells and other items, I will often go fishing. The fish you really don't want is the sea bass. It's been notorious through all the Animal Crossing games as being a low value fish. It's a big fish, but it's not really worth it. But you never know what you're really going to get. So of course we got a sea bass. Any items and fish that you do find, you can sell, or you can actually display them in your house as well, which is nice, and you can give them to other characters. So the rivers are full of fish as well, but you know, if you try and pull your line in too early, you're going to lose the fish. You'll find yourself going through tools very quickly. So the materials what you've been gathering previously, you can turn into actual utensils and tools and items. So if you break anything, you can just make another one. So it's quite simple, and yeah, it's useful. It's very useful. I always store the materials in storage so I don't have to carry them around, and it leaves your pockets a little bit more free. It is also useful to have a slingshot to hand, just in case you see these balloons floating over. They carry recipes, items and bells, which is quite nice. Let's have a look what we got. We have a present. It's a mini diner table. And after I've done all of that, I tend to look at the Nook Miles. If there's anything that can easily complete and earn a reward for, these Nook Mile points you can redeem for quite nice items, recipes, and you can buy a ticket to go to a remote island, and they might have rare fish, rare bugs, rare flowers, and it's kind of cool how to do it. I mean, that one was simple, like take a screenshot and you earn a reward for it. It's like sell seashells found on the beach or talk to other characters. It just keeps you engaged with the game, especially if you're bored. It's something you could actually do if you don't really know what you want to do. And then I found myself just catching bugs, picking shells and catching fish. Just fill up your pockets, make as much money as you can by selling them to Timmy and Tommy. Because let's face it, you're going to have a massive debt on your hands. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be upgrading your town, you're upgrading your house, and you always have to pay it. So that's essentially it during the day. It's a completely different routine at night because a load of different things happen. But yeah, so there you go. Sell these off to them now, and I hope you enjoyed this video in some way, shape or form. I've been Vicky from Tales from the Trails. If you don't subscribe already, please do so, and happy trails.